Well, I'll tell you what, it's 18 after. Why don't we get our board meeting started and hope that Kathy joins us. So going right down the agenda, the first item, as always, is the approval of the minutes from the previous
Did
meeting.
you call us to order? Okay. Sorry, I missed that.
I call the meeting to order. So, item number 1 is the approval of minutes from the previous meeting.
So moved.
All right.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, hearing none, let's just physically raise our hands if we approve. Jeannie, do you approve or not?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Steve, how about you?
I just got a message from Kathy. It says I can't get on. It says I was removed, so I can't get back on. So Larry tried to re-enter, or rather under remove me, and it's not working. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I went through, in any event, the approval of the minutes, so approved by a majority of people,
Okay.
board members here. You know, I tried to do it. I invited Kathy directly from Zoom, and it's just not letting her in, and I don't know how to undo that removal. But I think we need to proceed. Let's go with a program report. Sandy, it's been an excellent year, a huge turnout today.
Yeah, well, we're going to leave politics. At least we're supposed to leave politics for a week. And we're going to have Steve Farley talking about the Humane Society. And then we go to Gary Harrison, who is the clerk of the Superior Court, to tell us that position does and what it's all about. He's an elected official, and he beat an incumbent when he got elected, so that's kind of interesting. And then we're back to what's his name?
Robert McWhorter?
Yeah, McWhorter, who's going to talk more about Trump and the Constitution, which is going to be kind of interesting, I guess, since we aren't going to have Trump anymore, but he can show us how he tried to screw it up, I guess. And then we're followed by Elizabeth Slater, who is from Youth on Their Own, who's going to tell us how Pima County youth that are on their own have been faring with the virus, and what happened.
Oh, I just went to the DGT page. Keep going, Sandy.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, all of a sudden my computer went. And then we're going to end this year with Victoria Steele giving us a breakdown of what she thinks to expect for the legislature for next year, since we'll know who's going to be in the legislature. And of course, not nearly as rosy as we were hoping she would have a report on. However, and that's the one I want to leave up to talk to you about. I mean, I do have a call out to Nikki. What's her last name? The city council lady, Nikki Lee. Lee. To her people, and they're supposed to get back to me. I was going to start out with her telling us that what's going on out on the east and southeast side of Tucson, and what's good and what are problematic, and also because she's one of the newer council person, that she would tell us what she found as she came into the job. But I haven't really pursued it since last week to remind them they were going to get back to me because of this thing about you're wanting to, okay. I agree with Charlie. I don't think that we're going to get much of an audience if all we're going to have is an election, and the election is not going to take that long. I mean, in previous years, we've even had trouble getting anybody to run but the people that were already on the board, and it took about, 5 to 10 minutes as we went through the whole thing, and then we had a speaker. So, I thought about it after I made that suggestion, but I haven't pursued either that or getting Nikki Lee to start the first one if I'm going to move Victoria. But in thinking about it, I agree with Charlie. I think you'll get very few people for just the election if we don't have a speaker.
Larry,
Yes, go ahead, Susie.
a suggestion would be, I thought when Brian was in the winning slot, that he would be a good one. But what about, come January 1st, when our legislature takes over, and if we haven't really flipped anything, or even if we have, we need to know how to keep an eye on what they're doing and how they're doing it. So somebody who can talk about civic engagement beyond voting and request.
That's what Victoria's going to do.
Oh, okay.
And that's what I have. And Victoria is going to be the last speaker in December unless we decide that we're going to do the election then, and I move her to January. And the Laura, I thought about it after I made that suggestion. I read what Charlie said. It reminded me, yes, we won't get a whole lot of people for just the election. So I have not done anything for moving her, but that's what Victoria's thing was. That's why she wanted to talk last.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about the election in just a minute. Some other people that we might consider would be like Hank Stevenson. He's the editor of the Yellow Sheet.
I have a whole list of people to contact. It's not that I'm short of people.
Okay.
I'm holding off now, and I didn't want to do anything until after the election because people needed to be focused on the election. And then after the election, I contacted Nikki Lee's office because that was one of the ones I wanted to present. I have a whole list here, but I haven't done anything about it, Larry, till I find out what you really want to do about the election and whether I should be asking Victoria to move. I'm not sure whether she's going to be willing to or not even. And so I held off contacting anybody. If you have suggestions, please email them to me and I'll put them on my list. But I already have a list of people that I already intend to contact.
All right. Thanks for that, Sandy. Since Kathy can't get on, what about a membership report? Steve and Christina, what can you share with us?
But nothing's really changed. We're still at 127 for the year. And if I'm remembering right, Steve, Susie's the only one that's paid 2021.
All right.
Right. And so I do need some help. When the dues start coming in, I'm not quite sure how to set up the worksheets in Excel. I don't want to goof it up. So if somebody could help me set it up so when people start paying, we can start marking those in the right column. I think all I need to do is copy and paste 2020 into above what's 2020 now and mark it as not paid for 2021. Is that right? Or does Larry, do you want to meet up with me or something?
Yeah, why don't I give you a call later on today, and okay. We'll set up Google Sheets so that it works.
Okay.
Okay. Steve, what can you tell us about the Treasury?
Yeah, well, it's all related to the to what Christina was just talking about. We're not getting any new money here. Currently, Charlie, you ready for numbers? Okay. Checkings 4,000 $725.42. Savings is $705.54. Total $5,430.96. No really new expenses. I mean, Larry's doing things on Facebook, but that doesn't, amount to a lot. As a matter of fact, the last one was only a couple of bucks. I guess whatever you did as far as boosting. And so what I was going to say is, once the election is over now is when I really wanted you to start sending out a list of saying, hey, everybody, it's time to pay your dues, and pay it either through to the
Act Blue.
the post office box or Act Blue, whichever way you want to do it. But there's nothing coming in. I have one that I have to process, but that's it. So we're not getting him. Nobody's paying for next year, and we need to remind people that dues, can begin now for next year.
I'll start sending, including that in every newsletter, and Christina and I will come up with a list of people that need to renew. And we'll do it every week and in between weeks as well.
Right, but I wish you had said something even today at the end of the meeting, saying, just reminding people. I mean, we had over 50 people there, and some of those names I looked at who was at the meeting, and some of them were our regular members who will pay their dues, but some of them were not. And it'd be nice to get new money also. The other thing was I wanted to bring up for Sandy, and maybe, I don't know, one thing that's coming up, and I know we don't really have the time or place, and maybe we don't get involved. We have a very interesting election for Pima County Chair sort of forming, very interesting. And I don't know if we just stay out of this or give them time to speak. I don't know how this works. But whoever is elected the new Pima County Chair maybe should get a time to speak, Sandy, sometime.
I already thought of that, but number one, we already gave both of them a chance to make the announcement on our program. What was it, last week or the week before?
Yeah.
And no, I don't think we should give each one of them a whole hour to speak.
No.
Do you need?
No, I'm just saying schedule them when the election's over, and just to say, here's what we're looking at for the future, kind of plans for the campaign.
Oh, I agree that we will wait until after the election for me to do that.
The new chair generally does speak after the in January. The new chair has in the past.
Yeah, well, I will get them, but you have to wait till they're elected.
Right.
Right.
When is that election?
The 19th.
The 19th of December.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, on to the next thing, which is our election. I was listening to Brian Bickle at the LD9 meeting, and for really any effective way to hold an election, we need to limit the audience to members only. Otherwise, there's really no way to prevent someone from just joining the meeting and voting.
Mm-hmm.
What I thought we would do, hang on just a second here, is just basically do polling, which is built into Zoom. Can everybody see that?
Mm-hmm.
So you should have an ability to cast a vote. I'm going to have to do this on the fly, of course, during the meeting, because we won't know really ahead of time who the candidates are, but it'll look just like this. So give it a shot. Who do you want for DGT president? Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, or Ben Franklin. Little typo there. For program director, I have a variety of Native American figures that you can vote for.
Larry, I have a question for you. When, because Chris brought it up to me, when we're at the kettle and we have our meeting, our general meeting for election, we don't tell the people that aren't members that they can't participate.
Well, that's a decision for us to make. Do you want to
Well, no, I'm just bringing that up.
Yeah.
No, what we have done is only give ballots to people as they come in who are members.
My bad.
So
Okay.
non-members come in and they can
Can't
listen
vote.
and they can talk, but the voting is given to the
Members only.
ballot.
I should have known that it had been taken care of, but I was not aware. So I
Yeah,
learned something.
so that's how we handled it there. Larry is, well, especially won't know who it is. I was just gonna think if there's some way that we can only, I think, number one, my thing was, because we're letting her do this, not only telling us what the youth are doing, but also what they need. I was a little bit concerned about limiting it only to members, because I thought, you know, some of the non-members might be willing to make donations too, because I'm sure they're going to need lots of things for these kids that are out on the street with COVID. And that's why I had originally had made that suggestion that we do it in place of Victoria, and I just moved Victoria. But again, I don't think it's going to be that long. So maybe if Elizabeth just has to deal with just our members, I guess we could do that too. I mean, I was just feeling badly about, you know, trying to get things for the kids.
Yeah. Well, I recall that at the election a year ago, we did have a speaker, and
We've always had a speaker. We've always had a speaker at elections.
And the election took quite a while because it was manual counting and manual ballots. It might go faster with these polls. I mean, you just saw how easy it was. Looks like everybody wants Ben Franklin to be the DGT president, so I can't compete with that.
I have a question.
Steve, yes.
Okay. And this came up earlier in my thought process. Why don't we have the general meeting and then have a members meeting?
How would that work? Online?
I don't know, Larry, you're the techo whiz, but we could ask everybody that is not a member to drop out and do it just like we're doing this meeting. Do the speaker and your talk and everything, and then go to the meeting.
Oh, in other words,
Call it to order and just get it done.
in other words, we could ask the members to join, you know, like right at the dot of noon, and tell the general audience to join at 12:30. Is that what you're suggesting?
That wouldn't be a bad thing either.
Let's get some
Then you would
discussion on
know
that.
who's
What do people think?
You could
I don't
control
think we
who's.
need a half hour for the election.
Well, that's true.
Oh, I do.
So here's another thought too. We're gonna know who has paid leading up to that day. Could we say, just remind everybody to pay their dues by the Friday before that meeting, and then
No, you can't do that because they have until next year to pay
Right,
their
because
dues.
it goes from,
okay,
Well, we
what I
could,
was
you know-
gonna say is to let people know that we're gonna have the elections coming up, and if they would like to participate in the elections, then to please pay your dues by this date so that you can.
no,
No.
because they're already paid
Well,
for it this year.
They're already paid for this
Gotcha.
year.
Okay,
Gotcha, okay.
I explained it to it, no
Okay.
problem.
So, okay, so let me step back another one. What about if we sent emails out to all the paid members now and asked them, you know, tell them the election's coming up and ask them if they want to nominate somebody and have a time frame as to when they could nominate somebody. And then that way the poll could already be set up, so it would take less time than having to have the floor open to nominations on Zoom, is what I'm trying to get at.
Well, you can do both. Put it out. You can put it out, but you still have to open the floor because that's in
Okay.
our bylaws.
Okay,
Okay,
Now, I mean, as far as dues being paid, we always had a cutoff date, but that was in the days when we used to be able to be in the same room. I
mhm,
mean, everything's so different now. It's almost like we can't be doing this, because if somebody's going to pay their dues on Act Blue, well, there's a whole time lapse between the
Right.
time they pay and the time they let me know that that they've even paid. And I certainly don't have that money because it takes a while to even process the whole thing. So we used to have a cutoff, of sometime, actually this month, November, was a certain cutoff. If you haven't paid your dues by such and such a date, then you couldn't vote in the election. Now, that was when we used to be in the same room. I mean, there were people who would bring their money and pay their dues that day, and that was okay. Well, we can't do that. So I don't know what you want to do. I don't think there's going to be a big rush of people saying, oh, please let me pay so I can vote. I mean, I don't see that happening. And the whole problem with, well, we can separate and tell these people to come this time and these people to come this time. I don't know if that's going to be a problem either. I don't even know if we have an election as far as having more candidates than we have places for candidates. So that the whole thing may be moot. I don't know.
Well,
I can't.
I can
don't have a
easily do a-
solution. I'm sorry.
go ahead, Steve, you have something?
I was gonna say, I don't have a solution for this time, but all we have to do when the election is over, whoever the board may be, is all they have to do is change when the subscription time runs. If you're required to be a member in October, and it goes from October to October, it's the same as January to January, but it gets it all done before you have elections.
Isn't that already in our bylaws what our fiscal year is?
Yeah, you have to start changing the bylaws. It's all written down that
The bylaws can be changed.
but you have to pay your
But
dues.
not by the board, but not by
By the membership.
by the membership.
I'm not arguing that. I said I can't take care of the problem this year, but if we have next year to change everything, then we can change it so that we don't have this dilemma next year.
That's true. Well, I'll tell you what, for December 7th, I believe we're going to have to restrict attendees to members only. And, I can get emails out, to that effect to the members. And then, we can do polls on the fly, and, it should go pretty rapidly, I'm hoping. And then, but we don't really have any other option. Otherwise, anybody who logs in, or if a bunch of Republicans decide to flood the meeting, they'll elect Daffy Duck.
Is there any way we can skip the election this year?
that's what I was looking at.
No, that's a Trumpism.
But I'm not joking. I mean, is there any way we could do it?
He
It's
wasn't
rigged.
joking either.
whole
Don't
thing
forget,
is
he's
rigged.
supposed to have an extra 2 years.
I'm looking at the bylaws.
I'm looking at him too. Let's see, approved bylaws.
You all, I don't want to pull them up.
Voting.
Let's see. It lists
right, so the-
officers and duties.
So voting qualifications in the bylaw says that the members have to have their dues paid by the 15th of November
Yeah,
to be eligible to vote.
But that's for this year.
That's for 2020.
Correct.
So they would have had to pay this year. So everybody that's paid for 2020 is eligible.
Yeah.
Anybody that pays for 2021 doesn't make any difference.
Wait, no. If it's due on the 15th
Of November.
of November, then
No,
they have to,
no, what it is that they have to be paid for this year by the 15th. In other words,
Right.
if we have Timbuktu, who's been coming to our meetings and decides they don't want to become a member. and
that
then-
doesn't make any sense.
Wait, let him finish.
Anyway,
Because
So-
you can't make people pay for the following year by this year to be able to vote.
well, I think what we can do is tell people if you haven't paid your 2020 dues yet, do so now. But I'm looking at the bylaws right here. Hang on just a second. I'll show you. Officers shall be elected at the annual meeting, which shall be the first meeting in December, unless the date is changed
By
due
the
to special
executive board.
circumstances.
Well, this is special circumstances.
Yeah, but it just says date change, not election change.
Well, what if we did that? What if we changed it till January and asked that by December 7th, anyone who wants to nominate someone can nominate them? So we'll be prepared to have the meeting in January for the election. And that way people will be, and plus tell them they have to have their 2021 dues paid by January 1st.
put that into a motion.
No, no.
I don't think he can because we got to make sure it goes off the bylaws.
You're not going to get people to pay. Everyone's not going to pay their
All right,
dues.
forget that, but at least change the date of the election. It just said the board can change the election, change it to January, so we're a little bit more prepared for, anybody who's endorsing somebody. And if they're not, then we are who we are.
Well, I mean, we have a month in advance. The only way to deal with this is to have members only attend for the election. And then it says right in the bylaws that people can nominate from the floor. So we have to
Yeah.
take live nominations.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can do an instant poll.
Hey,
Let me just try to.
Can I make another suggestion?
Yeah,
In the past, because people have been traveling and getting family in and everything, we haven't had a meeting the Monday before Christmas. The Monday before Christmas is the 21st. Nobody is going anyplace these days, particularly in our age group, which is most of our members. And probably very few are having any company. What if we have a members meeting, a members only meeting on the 21st, do the election, talk about, the future of being able to meet in public, give them a discussion of something that they'd like to talk about, of what the fact that we're now a PAC, I don't think people understand or know the difference. Just give them some general information in an agenda and send the agenda out to all the members saying, this is the annual membership meeting. This is what we're going to discuss. Please join us. And those that do, and those that don't.
I think that's a great idea.
I do too, because it doesn't matter if they're traveling, because they can do it by Zoom.
That's
Yeah.
true.
well, and I don't hear a compelling argument for why we should change the date. I mean, the bylaws say the first week of December.
Yes, but we could, but this way we don't have to deal with a speaker and the meeting can go for as long as the meeting goes and that's it, because it's members only and we've accomplished whatever we're going to accomplish. I just think it's a good idea. I think the 7th is coming up and nothing was talked about today at the meeting. Of course, there are other meetings coming up, but I just think that, I think that's a good idea.
Larry, what does the bylaws say about a quorum?
I think it's 25%. Let me check real quickly.
Yeah, I'm worried about that. Even occurring if we do something like that.
Well, it probably would be the same if we had it with a speaker, so. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I just
maybe
received
not.
some suggestions that we,
Possibly. I mean, I'm okay with it, but possibly not if it's so close to Christmas. That's what worries
Yeah,
me.
I share your concern, Stephen, and also it says a quorum should be at least 25 members and
Yeah,
one officer. So,
I'm worried about, even though people aren't going away, their mindset is just not on our meeting. It's more on the holiday.
yeah. I mean, I think if we hold it just before Christmas, you know, we're lucky to have 5 or 6 people.
Exactly. That's the only part that bothers me. Other than that, Sandy, I think it's a good idea, but I'm just worried about people showing up.
well, okay, and I'm not sure we'll get 25 people, to I mean, it has to be 25 members, because a lot of the people on there that have been on are not necessarily members too.
Right.
So we're
Yeah.
limiting it to members only. What happens if we don't get 25 show up for a meeting?
Well,
That's
then,
why I think we almost need to be relook at the bylaws and say that that rule only applies to in-person meetings or something like that. It's,
Okay.
I mean, because we're in another world now and somehow the rules don't apply anymore to anything.
I'm
With
really
that being
concerned about the
said-
members only.
Right, and with that being said, so it's going to be on us as the executive committee to reach out to members and explain to them what's going on and how important it will be for them to attend whatever meeting we're talking about so that we can hold the elections. That's going to be sending out emails, making phone calls out to the members. We need to do an outreach here, would be my suggestion to the members.
It was suggested earlier that because we have the power or the authority, I should say, to postpone the election or choose the election, that we move it into like May so that we can have it in person. I mean, I know we're extending our terms, but this is weird.
Yeah.
Nobody was ready to deal with this. There was no way when they wrote these bylaws that they anticipated not being able to sit around a table or have lunch.
I think you're very optimistic if you think we're going to see each other in May.
He is very optimistic.
The vaccine's here, man. They got it.
Okay. All right. You get online. You get it first, then I'll get it.
Okay.
all right,
Well, it is only 90% effective, according to Pfizer.
only 90%. That's better than measles.
Oh, yeah.
That's exactly what they
I
said
mean, that's
today.
their latest, that changes periodically.
All right, being realistic, there's not going to be an in-person meeting for many, many, many months. We're going to have to do this online. It doesn't make sense to do it later, unless you want to deal with members who are saying, what happened to the election?
Yeah,
Um,
no, I think
know,
we need to go ahead and do it.
Yeah, and I like Christina's suggestion that we divide up the membership list, by 8 people and basically
Do an outreach.
Yeah, call the members and say, we need you to attend. If we divide it by 8, 8 into, would you say it was 127?
127,
Yeah, I mean, that's not so bad. Everybody can
And
make,
plus we could send out emails and then
Yep.
follow up with phone calls.
Ah.
You know, and just, hey, did you get our email?
And we can send a card.
Yeah,
yeah,
but I mean,
Hey, we got bragged on because Chris and I did the LD3 cards, so the guy today says about LD3 doing their part. Well, we were part
Susie
of it.
did too.
I know she did.
Keep it simple, guys.
There you
Right.
go.
Right.
Yeah,
Some of us are coming off of long phone banks.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
keep
true.
it simple.
So
well,
why don't we,
it's only gonna be 10 or 12 calls, per person.
That's fine. Tell me who and I'm ready.
Yeah, I think we all feel the same way. So what we
I'm
need to do
not
is
good-
get out the vote for December 7th. Yes, Susie?
I'm sorry. I'm just terrible at phone calls, but I do emails and I write postcards. And so if I can do if I can do the emails, I'd be more than happy to do that. So, but I am terrible.
Why don't we say that we'll give each person the 12 names or whatever we just figured out, and they can contact these people in any way that they feel comfortable doing. But that they're responsible for trying to contact these people. Because I also telephone, I hate getting all these telephone calls that have come in over the last year, 2 years, from candidates and organizations for candidates and whatever, and I'm a little bit tired of it right now.
Yeah, maybe an email is a better idea because now some of us, I'm working on another campaign for Lucy Messing for chair. So I'm making phone calls and doing things like, letters and stuff like that for her. So that's why I said, let's keep it simple, but whatever you decide is fine.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll start getting the emails out. I mean, that's really on autopilot.
Yeah, Larry, I just want you to keep sending it to the, more than once, just keep telling them and,
Oh, yeah.
and whatever.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's going to be a video of today's program, and what I routinely do is send that out to the attendees. I can send it out to the entire membership, and include a message. Start an email campaign and a web campaign that the members only meeting is December 7th. And then we'll see what sort of an open rate there is, but I never liked making phone calls either, but when I was first getting active in Tucson, the Democrats contacted me and said, here's a bunch of phone calls. You got to make a bunch of phone calls. It's just part of the deal with being on the board or being a precinct committee person. So let me see what the response is, but I got to tell you, if the response is low, we need to contact every member and get a response from them. So we'll see how that goes in the next week or so.
Okay.
But in other
Larry,
words, yes.
I was just gonna say, since you're sending out the letter, you might want to include that if we receive their payment now, they'll be able to vote whether they're a member or not.
by the 15th?
Sure. By the 15th.
Well, making sure that you say that if you're not a member now and you want to pay for 2020, because don't
Oh,
get
I see what you,
confused with 2021.
Mhm.
They don't have to pay for 2021 to be able to vote in this election.
Right.
okay, never mind, that got
Well, could I
complicated.
have a motion then on, sort of the date and the format of the meeting?
So are we going to have a speaker?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the one that Elizabeth Slater is speaking at.
Okay,
Which we're just gonna have to cut her a little bit short, and she's only gonna get members. She won't get those people that normally come on that are not members that wanna listen to us. So
Maybe
that
we
was-
can just extend the meeting a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, let's give her all the time she needs, and
Yeah.
and then
Basically, we're a membership
Yeah.
organization, presenting our entire membership to a speaker is what we're all about. I don't think that's
It's not
short.
gonna be our entire membership, believe me. A
Maybe,
lot of them won't get on. But anyway, yeah.
All right.
So what you're, so
Then
what
I'll
you're
make
saying,
a motion that we proceed with, I move that we proceed with the election on December 7th, that we do it by Zoom, and that we take votes from the floor. And I will compile,
Nomination.
polls and take the votes live.
Yeah. Second the motion.
Second, all right.
Charlie, did you have a comment?
yeah, I was gonna say if we wanted to, I mean, maybe somebody already said this and I missed it, that we could just start the meeting early, like by maybe 15 minutes, let people know that it's gonna start a little bit early so that we can handle elections. And then that way it's not cutting into the speaker's time very much.
Well, if we're going to play with the time, I think it's better to extend the time rather than to get people tuned in early. They're already
sense, yeah,
in at 12, so we can extend it 15 minutes or whatever the speaker needs.
Yeah, I agree with you. Well,
Bless you.
bless you. People are used to coming on for the 12 o'clock meeting.
Mhm. Yeah,
And there are good people that have stayed. We've run over with a couple different meetings.
and in the email that you send out, Larry, this could be explained, join us for the meeting on December 12th and be prepared to stay the extra 15 minutes it'll take to do the election for the
or just
membership
stay extra
annual meeting.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because people are Zooming, they don't have to drive to get to anywhere. So it's easier for them to stay later than it was when we were at the kettle.
True.
Can I
Yeah.
bring up one thing? The
Yeah.
bylaws, are they the property of the board or the property of the membership?
Membership, I would say.
Membership, because it takes the membership to change them.
Okay. Because I know that we have in AEA retired, we have bylaws and policies and procedures, and one of them can be changed by the board and we own it. I
No,
just
well,
wonder if we could change. We can't do that if it has to be voted on by the membership, so forget it, because I was going to say, in the case of a Zoom meeting, the quorum is who's ever there. That's what I meant.
yeah, no, well, as you said, we're gonna probably try to do just a workaround because we're on Zoom. But the bylaws do say that the membership has to vote on changing the bylaws.
Okay.
All right, so let's see by show of hands, December 7, election, vote on Zoom, polling. All right, that'll do it. I will start, pounding out the emails and the web notices. And I'll work with you, Christina, and we'll get the membership database updated. And depending on the response, I may or may not call on you to pick up the phone and dial
I'll
them
make
up.
phone calls, Larry. I'll
Yeah,
make phone calls.
I can make phone calls. We're not calling for money or we're not pitching anything. It's basically, hey, we're having our annual meeting.
Yeah, but people are tired of phone calls, but
No, this is not
No.
going to come up as a shock. We're not strangers to our own members.
no.
All right. Well, any further items for discussion? All right, well, hearing none,
Yay, Joe. Yay, Joe.
Yeah.
yeah, really. Take a motion to adjourn.
Oh,
I
no,
move,
Okay. And a second, Susie?
Susie, I'll yeah.
All right. So let's adjourn and then we can yak a little bit. All in favor of adjourning?
aye.
Aye.
Steve
Okay.
says aye. So two.
We are adjourned. So what'd you guys think of Joshua Polachek?
He's great. Is he continuing on in that role?
We have to vote him in.
Oh, okay.
At the reorg meeting, we have to vote him in.
So we don't vote on
You don't
him.
vote on that.
The
Second
board,
director is not a
the
voting
P-
position.
the Pima County.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You're right.
board,
You're
What
right.
we have to do is vote the board in. We get, as PCs, we get to vote on the board.
Right. You're right.
As he indicated, it really depends on, well, partially on who the executive director is, and I'm sorry, who the
Chair.
president is, and what the rest of the board wants to do. They're the ones that decide whether to hire or fire or whatever. The last president kind of pushed the board to hire who she wanted.
That's right.
Prior to that, there were two other, this would be the fourth executive director that I've been working under. I think it's four. But anyway, so depending on whether Lucy gets it or Bonnie gets it, they and their board will decide whether he stays on or not. I think he's got a lot of information. I don't think he's the greatest speaker in the world, but then neither am I. So
Yeah, he was very informative.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of information.
Yep.
Yeah. That
What
is
what are Brian's numbers, right? I mean, how much is he losing by? Last time I mean, he was ahead for a long time.
Yeah, it's extremely close. I wrote it down. If you go to the Pima County Recorder's site, let me just see here.
Yeah, Stellar even wrote in one of his things that
He's behind by 0.66%.
But no, but in actual votes.
Well, let me just see.
I mean, what does that mean in actual votes? Because he had been, reasonably ahead, and then I don't know.
Yeah, the last I saw, he was reasonably ahead too. That's too bad about Steve Diamond.
Well, no, he was running behind, but and then Rex. I mean, how much is Rex ahead still?
he's got a fair margin.
So
Yeah, I
he's
hope so.
pretty
Like
safe.
1,000.
How much?
2,000.
Oh, well, all right.
Well, that's good. And how many ballots? Provisional ballot? Oh, 10,000, right? Provisional?
I think that's what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not 10,000 provisional ballots in, let's say, Rex Scott's area.
No.
That's true. Yeah.
No, it would affect Brian more than anybody else.
Yes,
Yeah.
10,000, the number 10,000.
exactly.
Yeah, gosh, I'm looking on the recorder site. And you'd think they'd make it a little easier to find. 2020 election results. Campus primary elections, the election night reporting. Okay, hang on, I think I've got it here.
Okay, the Weekly had a good article on it.
All right, supervisor. No, this is not it.
Yeah.
Well,
Rex Scott is 2 percentage points ahead of Steve Spain. Let's see, Beth Ford by about 2,000 votes. And let's see, The county now estimates 8,000 early ballots have been verified, but remain to be tallied, with an exception that they will be expectation that they will be counted today. In addition, roughly 700 early ballots remain to be verified, and another 18,000 provisional ballots remain to be verified, according to the press release from the county. Yeah,
As of when was that?
this is from Friday in the weekly. So I don't know if they've come out with their numbers from today or what they counted over the weekend.
No, the cell phone, so then it's going.
So,
Well, I'll tell you what, let me look it up and I'll send you all an email. I had it up during the meeting, but now I just can't seem to find it on the,
Well, I have here that Brian has 236,760 votes and Beth Ford has 239,906 votes and is 48% to 47%. So it's about 2,000 votes. I don't know. I don't know how current this is though.
yeah. Well, let's all stay tuned to the news. I got a bunch of emails to pound out and a website to update, so I'm going to get to that. But there's
thank
nothing-
you much, Larry.
You're
Yes,
welcome.
thanks, Larry.
Yeah,
Give me a
thank
call
you,
when you get a
Larry.
chance.
I will. Call you
Okay.
later today. Bye,
Okay.
everybody.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
So long.
Take care.
Bye.
Everybody be safe.
Be safe.